Hey guys, back in another chess video. Today we're going to be looking at a game I played as black recently for a hyper-accelerated dragon. So, opponent starts e4, response c5, the Sicilian, knight f3, knight c6, d4. Pretty much the most common opening I see, at least at my level. Maybe, a bit higher, there's a bit better options, but here, bishop here, bishop here, knight here, and then obviously d4. All totally viable. We're going to be delving into the accelerated dragon ideas, or that type of structure. So we're going to skip a couple of those openings. d4, d takes d4, knight takes d4, g6. So this is the accelerated dragon. Here, black looks to put a bishop on this diagonal, go knight f3, eventually push d6. You can get castled pretty quick, and white will look to protect this knight with bishop e3, knight c3. This bishop sometimes will come out here. Other times it'll go queen here, supporting this bishop, castle queen side, and look to exchange dark squared bishops. So there's a couple different ways this can go. If he develops the light squared bishop, anticipating white castling kingside. If he develops this knight and this bishop and then goes queen here, anticipate castling queenside. Both are totally viable options. It's not like one has any incredible traps over the other, but just that's where you can anticipate. Which bishop he develops first usually is which way he's going to castle. Knight c3, bishop g6, bishop e3, knight f6, knight takes f6. It's a book move. You don't really see it a ton because white's not as developed as he wants to be. Black can take back with b6, and then that supports d5, which he wants to push anyway. D5, and if he responds e4 or e5, that's really not a problem. You can hop your knight in here to the vacant d7 square. So knight takes c6, not the best move. B takes c6, bishop d3. This is an inaccuracy because this cuts off the queen from the d5 square and allows for the immediate d5. I'm pretty familiar with this opening, but I was thinking, I know I can play this, but this bishop can get active, and let me just castle and play safe. That was my thinking. I castle, and then I think he castles, yeah. 3 castles. Really about even right now. Here, the queen is cut off. I can push the immediate d5. This light squared bishop, I'm not in a hurry to develop because I'm looking to, in the accelerated dragon, you're looking to get the dark squared bishop on the g7 square, get this knight out, get castled, and try to push d5 pretty quickly, even at the expense of developing this light squared bishop, because opening up the center, getting your dark squared bishop active on this diagonal is pretty important. So d5 takes. Here, you can see why black is so much, why this black is not so much better, but why black has an easier time playing this position, because you get pretty nice central control with those 2 pawns. Your bishops can get active extremely quickly. White has the idea of exchanging this dark squared bishop off, but black, it's just a little bit more natural to play. You go here, maybe rooks here, bishop there, and you just have a lot more easier development. Bishop e2. Please bishop e2 because I was threatening d4, but you could have pinned my knight. You kind of could have done a lot other than bishop e2. Just nothing too crazy. I expand in the center, e5. Looking to push here, but knowing that this knight can kind of come here, can retreat. Has a couple different options, but I did not anticipate him actually letting me do this. I thought he was going to go bishop here. Knight b5 first is a little bit of an odd mistake to me because it allows me to take more space in the center with d4. This knight can get kicked away pretty quick, and then if I play d4, it's going to have to go to the edge of the board, and it doesn't have great prospects there. So knight b5 in anticipation of d4 was a little bit odd to me. I think it wanted on f4, and then if you push, or no, not f4. 4 is best. If I push, takes, like takes, and white's gonna be better. Oh, interesting. I think all right, I messed that one up. Here, do we exchange queens? All right, I think I messed this one up. Let's do what it wants. F takes e5. d4 is a miss. Here. This I'm not familiar with. What are you supposed to take? This black is better. I don't think my engine's correct right now. e5. f4 is best. Takes f4. Oh, bishop d4. That I did not see. It still says black is better, but just slightly. Slightly. e5. I don't like the look of that move, trying to hang on to that pawn. 5. Black is better, but this is an ugly position to play. This I'm not familiar with. Go back. Instead of knight there, here, f4 takes bishop to the center, preventing d4. g5, queen here. Wow. All right, this I'm not familiar with. Rook e8. ad1, putting pressure on this pawn. Very interesting. Probably looking to exchange and, capture here. All right, let's get back to the game. Knight b5. I respond d4. Taking space in the center. I can kick this knight away pretty quickly. Anticipating the bishop's going to pin my knight, but I can get my queen out of the way, still protecting this knight, even though it's protected by the bishop anyway, and threatening this knight getting kicked away here. Bishop g5. Queen b6. So, up until this point, I knew I was better, but I was trying to think of what my long-term planning is going to be, because I have strengths of good pawns in the center. This knight's a bit out of place. My bishop is protecting my center pretty well. This light-squared bishop has some good prospects. But I didn't see much weaknesses on his side of how to capitalize on that. So I was a little bit unsure of how to proceed. So I thought, let me develop my bishop. Let me try to get the knight out. Those are my thoughts of develop my bishop, not getting my knight out. Develop my bishop, getting this knight out. Depending on how he plays. If he tries to open things up, fine. But I thought, I got to get this bishop somewhere, and I got to get that knight out of here. So bishop d3. So a6. I was trying to get this knight out and then put my bishop on this diagonal, looking for maybe something here. I come back to that idea in the future, but it's an inaccuracy. Rook e8 is best, getting ready to push here. But I didn't really consider that much in the game. I thought, let me get this knight out, get it well to the side of the board, and then I can start kind of getting some attacking ideas going. So knight a3. This knight, well into his territory on the side of the board, not really protecting or doing anything. I know he can hop in here, but I thought, let me maybe develop my bishop, and I can protect that square. I can develop my bishop here. He hops here. I go here, threatening takes g2. So I thought, this isn't doing anything. Even if he hops here, he doesn't really have much prospects. So I should have attempted to develop my bishop. Bishop b7. He responds f3. I didn't consider this move. I was thinking he would probably like play something like queen here. Getting more pieces to the king side to attack me. F3 is a good move. Completely blunts that bishop, and if anything, supports his bishop coming into the center. If this knight can kind of get around to be able to support it, maybe exchanging here, getting this bishop to the center, and looking for an exchange, and then this duo in the center is a little bit harder to get going or get past. I don't know. I don't know. I didn't know what he was thinking, but it was a good move. Definitely a good move. I get my knight out of f6 because I wanted to get my dark squared bishop open. I wanted to look at getting my knight into e3. I know this bishop wasn't going to be going anywhere too soon, so I thought, let me just at least prepare it, because I may be able to get that going in the future if this dark squared bishop gets exchanged. That's what I was thinking. Knight c4, attacking my queen. I saw this knight move being really his only best option a while ago, so I wasn't too surprised. He is going to be looking to control these dark squares, but queen can just come here, and I'm really in no trouble at all. So queen c7. b3. I thought this was an odd one because my dark squared bishop is still on the board, and if the center opens up, I'm staring at this rook. You're supporting this knight, but it gives my knight a square to hop in here. This bishop's looking this way, so I thought this was an odd move. I didn't think it was entirely game-changing, but I thought that's definitely a weakening move, and if anything, creates a area that I can try to exploit. So I was debating hopping my knight in here straight away, or taking a second to get my rooks developed. But I thought, even if he swings a rook in here, I still have a tempo to develop here. If he goes bishop there, I can develop here. And if he wants to exchange, I can exchange. So I thought I have a tempo to kind of move this, not move this knight, to protect this pawn if I need to, and move this knight if it gets attacked. But I didn't see any other good options for moves. There wasn't a ton else I was considering, so I just went knight c3, getting my knight to the center. Looks like f5 is best. I didn't consider that at all. In these positions, I try not to push f5. I try to keep this pawn structure if I can, just because it's really hard for white to attack and with this light squared bishop, and then there's no checks I have to worry about on this side. That's why that's why I'm usually resistant to f5, but I was not considering f5 in this position. Queen e1, looking to not attack here, but pressure there. Bring his queen here. Rook fe8. I knew I had the tempo to do that. Looking to maybe eventually break open the center. Bishop here. I'm not sure if this was his idea the whole time. I was thinking he was going to be swinging his queen in here, which I see people do pretty often. Or, if it's still on that diagonal, bring it here. But I knew he was going to exchange, capture the pawn. I thought, let's waiting move. Takes, takes, takes here, but I didn't think he would let me just, win a piece like this. So I was like, maybe there's something I'm missing. Maybe he doesn't take back immediately, and then he's just looking at this pawn, and maybe pushes here. Maybe he just plants his bishop here. Probably something I'm missing. But it turns out what I'm missing is that it just goes from black being better to getting rid of waiting move of this good knight and leaving that pawn there. This bishop is in a good spot. This knight's putting pressure on e5, so just taking away the advantage for white. As you can see, I play e4. I was thinking, queen staring, my rook is staring at this queen. Let me open things up and kind of get the game going because my pieces were pretty well developed. I didn't see any obvious weaknesses in his position, but I think I like my position better. My bishops are active. They're kind of crisscrossing the board. My knight's in a good spot in his territory. So I thought, let me try to open things up. This is a mistake. F takes e5. Bishop takes. And then just queen slides out of the way. I just didn't see that coming. Just queen slides out of the way. Queen f2. Threatening here. I did not calculate this far, but this is a good example of if you're looking for exchanges, your opponent doesn't need to exchange the way you're thinking he's going to exchange, and you have to calculate all the way to the end of the line because I thought, yes, it opens up the board, but there's a couple moves at the end that he just doesn't have to continue taking and exchanging how I thought he did. So back to e4. That's why that's a mistake. It really likes F5, the engine does. I was never considering this. Let me see if the idea there. 3 and this. Maybe. All right, rook a8. Rook swings over. A d1. Okay. Yeah, I kind of see the idea. I just didn't not. I normally don't like the idea of this bishop getting active here, so that's why I'm very hesitant of pushing f5. It was not something I considered in this game at all, but it looks like that's a pretty good move. F takes, knight takes. Well, let me just try to save this pawn from getting lost. Bishop f4. I did not see this counterattack here, and this kind of gave up my advantage, this whole exchanging in the center. So this counterattack is good for two reasons. One, it directly attacks my queen, so my queen has to move. Two, it supports this knight hopping into these two squares. Really just the d6 square, but it's a good move that I just did not see coming. Didn't see coming. So I was thinking, okay, where am I going to move my queen? I don't want to go to the back rank and block my disconnect my rooks. If I go here, I still have vision here. So I thought queen c5. Pawn never moves. I have a check. That's also good. But queen c5, best move. So thankfully, I didn't get myself into too much trouble. Queen h4. Queen h4. You're gonna okay. So you're gonna see we have a pretty bad series of misses coming up. Let's do a3. Then that's not what I was looking at. Yeah, it was. Was a miss. Oh no, I guess that was the line I was looking at. So a3, a5, and down. This is the line I was looking. Takes, takes, and then my queen has to kind of move again. And I didn't see when I was looking at this after the game, what the idea would be for black, because anywhere I move, I feel like I'm just in trouble. Like maybe, just queen c8 back, but this knight has a pretty good square. It can hop in here at some point. As I was looking at this after the game, I just really had a hard time kind of finding what the idea was for this line, as it wants white to push here and black to kind of push here. So I was just a bit confused following this one up about why that was such a miss. Maybe it's a miss just because it goes from being black better to being equal. I wasn't too sure. I really wasn't too sure. Knight c3. So this line that it's labeling a miss, I did look at, but I just made a silly miscalculation. So I saw g5. I saw bishop takes, knight takes, and then I thought, this is terrible. This is going to be a problem. Maybe this rook is going to be here. My king is wide open. This is bad for, this is terrible for black. What I didn't calculate correctly was queen takes, knight takes. Much better for black. Just a miss because I miscalculated what black should be taking with. And so I thought that exchange doesn't work, and I'm not going to weaken my king for a worse position, so I'm going to hop my knight back into c3. It's a miss. White is now a bit better, and all because I just didn't think about what else can I recapture that bishop with besides recapturing with the knight first. What actually in that line white also has is here, here, rook, not there, rook there. That's also pretty nasty. And then white is much better. And it's not completely lost, but it's really bad for black. So this I saw after the game. The farthest I got calculating in the game was here, 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 and I thought, there's no way this makes any sense. But I shied away from that, even though that was the best move. A4, I think it wants, what is it, 96? Yeah, 96. So this I did see a while back that this was going to be an option. I thought, here, maybe I have to pull my rook here, and this is just like terrible. This is just terrible. So this I did see as a thing, but I thought it's gonna have to be like, me just giving up the exchange, and things are just gonna be a little bit worse for me. It's kind of as far as I got. So I thought this exchange doesn't work, even though it actually does. Let me hop my knight a little bit into his center, and then I'm worse, but maybe I'll try to kind of claw my way back after being down in exchange. But I knew I gave up the advantage at this point. I knew it. A4. So he misses the idea of knight d6. I thought, I know this knight isn't good here. Let me try to exchange it for this dark squared bishop. And, see what I can do. If he pulls his bishop back, I'll hop my knight in here, and that'll be at least a better square for my knight. And if he ever wants to exchange it, I have this dark squared bishop still looking here. So that's what I was thinking. But I guess it likes rook e6, looking to prevent any ideas there. Not a move I considered. Not a move I considered. So knight here, rook here. Knight e3. I thought, if I exchange this bishop, he's going to take recapture with the rook. He's going to have a lot more pieces staring at my side than I have at his side. I don't really like that. I know it would give me the bishop pair, but I thought, let me stick my knight into his territory, block this rook from this file, and maybe eventually kind of cause some trouble with that knight. If we capture with the knight, if we capture with a pawn, oop, wrote a little too much. Here, you have to defend against this discovered check. H1. No, not there. That is definitely rook d5. Discovered check. You're capturing the queen. Can't do that. So king h5 or king h1. Queen c6. This a bad move because here queen's gonna come here and this battery, I'm not doing anything with this, and then I just lose my pawn. So what would have been better, e2 be like captures here, and then you can win this pawn, captures here, takes, you still win this pawn. So that's the idea there, and then black is better, but I just missed that. I just missed that idea. Queen c6. Battery I was talking about earlier, but doesn't end up going anywhere. Queen g3. I thought here is the point in the game where I thought I just gave up my passed pawn. No way I can defend it. I'm not worse, but I just don't know what to do from here. I thought there's no way, no easy way that I can attack his pawn chain on A, B, and C with this light squared bishop here. I lost this pawn. What do I do? I thought it's an even game, but I just don't see a plan. So I thought, let me just go e2. Let's start exchanging pieces. Maybe with that pawn out of the way and some exchanges, I can kind of figure out a plan and get some weaknesses on his side. Takes. I missed the idea of takes, and capturing this pawn. Here, yeah, rookie best, bishop takes. Here, I just missed it. Yeah, just missed it. Rook 88, just getting my rook to the center because I didn't really know what else to do. But here, white's better. Pawns, what is it? Bishop g5. Takes here. But white's up a pawn because I just stupidly gave it away. Had nothing really I could think to do here. He double stacks his rooks. I have to exchange. I play a5 to just get it off of this light squares diagonal. This light squared bishop was defending it, but it was kind of stuck defending it. And I just wanted to be able to free up my light squared bishop and get it off of this diagonal. I still have the bishop pair, as does he, so I thought, let me do a5 to get it a little bit free from getting attacked constantly. Rook e8 is best. The exchanges. I have my queen on this open file, and white's better, but nothing terribly crazy. Still a competitive game. He plays h, so back to I play a5. Plays h3, just getting a little luffed for his king. White's better here, but just kind of from this point on in the game, I think we were both just trying to kind of maneuver, look for weaknesses, just kind of poke and prod a bit. There wasn't anything terribly egregious until the very end, but I thought, let me exchange, get my queen to the open file. Maybe, I'll be able to kind of get some exchanges, or maybe just attack this backward pawn, something like that. That's what I was thinking. I didn't want to exchange. I brought my queen back. I really was just looking to defend this bishop and have vision on this pawn. This bishop could go here. This queen could go here. You can try to go here. I wasn't looking to threaten that checkmate. I was looking to just get my queen off of the back rank and away from that exchange while having vision on this pawn again. Bishop f1. So I thought, okay, this is exactly what I wanted, but I missed. Queen takes. Check. And then I thought blocks. Here. And I missed that I can just go 8. All right. Oh no, queen c, yeah, queen c8. I missed I could go here, and is this a viable move? 5. Queen c5 is also viable. So I missed these two moves, and I thought, this is terrible. I don't want to get in this position. This bishop is going to be able to be active. I don't want to do this. So I went after bishop f1. I went h5, just be able to create a luft for my king. It's slightly better for white, slight edge to white, but it's still a completely playable game for both sides. White has a bit easier time since his queen's able to give me this check, and his king's a little bit more safe than mine. He's got these 3 pawns on the queen side that he can get going eventually, but this is totally a playable game for both sides. He goes king h2. I thought to myself, all right, king h2, there's not much I can do with that right now, but I'm going to log that away because my dark squared bishop can get active pretty quick, and maybe I'll have some back rank stuff with this queen. Here, I was calculating, okay, this has got to be a free pawn, and I'm not exactly sure what he was thinking with king h2, but I thought, let me just log that away. I got nothing with it right now, but let me I remember what I was thinking. I forgot why I thought I took the pawn. I took on c2, but I guess I didn't. King h7, getting off getting off any back rank ideas as I look to take c7. Not c7, c2. Queen d3, defending c2. Definitely a miss on my end. I remember having this thought of, oh, I could take this, but then maybe he comes here or something, even though I would be kind of mate. So I thought, let me just get my king here, avoid any issues with this bishop and this queen here, and then I can kind of keep poking and prodding. King h7, definitely a miss. Queen d3, maneuvering, just protecting some pawns and just maneuvering. Queen f6, not really threatening the dark squared bishop. Just trying to see, you're going to go all the way back. Where's it going to go? Goes bishop d2. At this point, I thought to myself, I'll push h4. Maybe, I'll go here and bishop here. Maybe, give a check, or I don't know. Maybe I'll push here. I saw he was looking at this pawn, but I thought, he's not going to take it because I have check and then I win the bishop. So let me kind of think past that and prepare something. So I go queen e7, just a bit of a waiting move. I didn't know exactly what to do. There wasn't any move that I thought was that great. This weakens your pawn structure. This you can get kicked away pretty easily. So I didn't see anything. It's even. It's like that was a good move, but it's even. So it's not anything crazy. Queen e7. A waiting move basically is what I was thinking. I was like, I don't know what to do, so let me just kind of do a safe move and do a waiting move. Turns out he does take. He takes on a5, just completely blundering an exchange. Or blundering a piece. So, something that happens a lot at like 1900 to 2100, maybe like 1800 to 2100, is you'll get in positions in games where it's even a slight edge to one side, but it'll go back and forth. Both sides are playing very solid, normal, safe chess. And then one side just cracks. One side blunders a piece, an exchange, something. And the other side can pounce on it. This game, we both had made a couple mistakes throughout the middle game. At one point, it was an edge to black, and another time it was an edge to white. I blundered an exchange at some point, or that he could have taken advantage of. But here, he just completely blunders a bishop. I was like, oh, thank God, because I don't know what the hell I was going to do in terms of planning and ideas if nothing, kind of manifested itself. I would have just kept maneuvering my pieces and, waiting for him to kind of make a mistake. So this was a welcomed blunder. From here, kind of tough to hang on as white. This bishop move I didn't really understand. I didn't know if he was going to try to go here and exchange bishops, or if he was just like doing another waiting move. I gave him a check because I was thinking king here, bishop here. He doesn't have any checks to me. So there's got to be something, something here that I can take advantage of. King h2. Yeah, king h2. Bishop e5 check. And then 8. From here, he kind of just fell apart. There wasn't too much he can do because it would have been, I'm up a full piece. So there's not a ton of options he has. But all the while, 38 moves before this, it was slight back and forth, slight edge to one side, slight edge to the other side. But then, boom, he cracks, and you have, the obvious plan of you're up a full piece. So this game was characterized by pretty solid opening, a lot of book moves. I get the center I want. I get my pieces where I want them. But then I kind of lose sight of what my plan should be and capitalizing on weaknesses from the opponent. So, like, here I'm better, but then I just waste a little too much time. I don't have a clear plan, and he's able to regroup and get some defensive resources going, and the game actually turns the tide into his favor. Because I was too slow, I didn't have a plan, I didn't know what to do. It goes back to being about even, but really could have gone either person's way. In the endgame, both sides have the bishop pair. It's really about even, just some maneuvering. Nothing too crazy until, unfortunately, he blunders. And then from there, the game is lost. So, this is a good example of you don't need to know a ton of opening theory, but you need to know opening principles, where you want to go with your pieces. And then where I came in with a weakness was I didn't evaluate the middle game as well as I could have and what the strengths and weaknesses in the positions were. So had I done that better, I could have better taken advantage of the strength I had of the strong center, and kind of progressing with that. And then I wasted too much time and let him turn the advantage back to his side, or at least back to even. And then just some mistakes and not having a clear plan on my end led to him having the advantage. What I believe was him not having a clear plan on his side led to getting back to even, and then unfortunately just a blunder lost him the game. So this was a pretty good game, good opening by both sides. But then the middle game, we both just kind of fell apart. And then thankfully in the end game, there was a blunder, and I was able to capitalize on it. But good game if you're looking for opening, learning the opening of the Accelerated Dragon, and just kind of seeing how the game and pawn structures develop, how they play out, and where you tend to want to put your pieces. So this is a really good Accelerated Dragon or Hyper Accelerated Dragon game if you're interested in that opening. Some ideas for the middle game to take advantage of that I missed, but good Accelerated Dragon game. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next one.